Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we'll be taking a look at the Argonaut. This is a Tier 9 Blitz Nation tank destroyer, and it was just added into the game for the Season 5 tanks. We have the Argonaut that was added into the game in Tier 9, and down in Tier 8, we have a Heavy, being the Quetzal, one of the goofiest looking Tier 8s. And then in Tier 7, we have, if I'm not mistaken, the Hazard is what it's called. The Hazard is actually the strongest looking out of the bunch. It's still goofy looking, but it actually has pretty good armor, and I'm really excited to try this vehicle out. But in today's video, we are going to be playing in the Argonaut. I'm going to be sharing my opinions and its capabilities on the battlefield. So let's start off with a brief overview of its statistics. 3,300 EPM, pretty solid. 3.3 seconds of aiming time and 0.335 dispersion, not pretty solid. It has 276 mils of standard pen and 418 on the gold, making this one of the highest penetration Tier 9s in the game. I think the only vehicle that technically has more is the Hori T2, but that's it. This thing has crazy good heat pen. It only features 6 degrees of gun depression and a top speed of 42 kilometers per hour. Now, I've already played a game in this vehicle. It's actually fairly maneuverable, a lot more than you would expect it to be. And that's actually really nice. It means that when you are driving the tank, you can very quickly get in and, well, maybe not out of position. That's something you have to think about. The vehicle only reverses at 11 kilometers per hour, making it pretty poor at actually getting out of situations you might be in. But it's not a bad tank. I've messed around with it a bit just to get an idea before making today's video, and yeah, it's not bad, but it's also nothing incredible, especially when vehicles like the Waffenträger Ritter exist, which have more damage per minute. Not only that, but feature Spallliner. I should mention, this tank does not have armor. Its upper plate will get some troll bounces, but the lower plate and turret are absolutely terrible. So you're going to be penned with high explosive by some shells if they hit your turret. Thankfully, it's quite a small box, but I can't say it's any harder to hit than like a grill turret, for example. So if people load HE, they are possibly going to get out some really good bleeds. So here we are on Port Bay. Now, something else I should mention about the tank is it's freaking huge. Like, you can see the size of it. A Scorpion G is based off of a Panther II hull, and the Scorpion G is quite a large vehicle. Look at the size of this thing compared to a KV-5, bro. It's literally larger than a KV-5. That's not good. That's actually quite bad because, sure, while the tank does feature really good DPM and solid penetration, you're going to have to be real careful about positioning it when, well, the enemy's going to see you from 8 miles away. Now, its camo values aren't actually terrible, so that's at least a bit of good news, but yeah, in terms of its size, it's a problem because you're going to be spotted quite quickly by your opponents. So we have the T-44 who pushed wide, and I'm not seeing anything else here yet. There's the T-28. Oh, we got an E-75. Look at that gold pen, though. Our gold literally butters through an E-75 upper plate like the armor doesn't even exist. That is insane when you think about it. So what am I going to do here? Well, first things first, I'm going to aim it on the T-44, and he cuts right through me. Well, at least our team bleeds him out a bit. What I really want to do is I want to use the mobility this tank has and cross up here, just like this. Yes. And then we can get to the side of this T-44 and chonk. Oh, okay. Something you'll notice about this tank is that it has very, very poor levels of on-movement dispersion, and you can see that, like, just turning it slightly, the gun blooms quite a substantial amount, which is not exactly what I like to see. So we have the Conway. We got one shell into the Conway. We're going to reload again. Now, the Conway obviously features high explosive, which is something to be a little worried about, but he misses me, and that's already pretty good for us. Oh, no, that's a T-95. Well, we are... Ooh, nice. T-95 misses me. That gives me the opportunity to aim it on his tank, and with the 418 millimeters of pen we feature, we easily cut through his armor. No issues at all. And trying to angle. You can't angle against 400 mils of heat. I mean, the level of penetration this tank has is... it's a little wild, to be honest. So, let's see. T-95 shoots. That allows me to now poke, aim it on the lower plate, and kerplunk. There you go. 180 damage. Pretty good stuff. That Conway's trying to shoot me, but not giving him that opportunity yet. And we do get a nice slap into that D75 as well, but he hits me back. We can see the armor. It's pretty bad. I mean, you're going to get penned from 99% of shells fired at you. And there's that on-movement dispersion again, missing easy shots that really shouldn't be missing. Oh, and yeah. Unfortunately, while this vehicle does have some great strengths, I think the weaknesses are also quite substantial. But we did a good game, 3,500 damage, we got a victory, and a solid result. So just from that first game, you can see really everything there is to know about the tank. It has great damage per minute, and it has great pen. So it's not a bad vehicle at all. I mean, that was a super easy 3,500 damage farm. But it's huge. And its camo values are not great. They're 65% while sitting still. That's only slightly better than a Grill 15, and judging that you're twice the size of a Grill, it means you have a much larger hitbox for people to shoot at. While I don't think many high explosive shells are going to be fired at the tank, I also don't really expect that this vehicle is going to do all too well for the average player, just for how big it is. Okay, another good matchup up against Tier 8. Nice thing about this tank is that with 418 millimeters of heat, it means that you're not going to struggle at all with really anything. I mean, even if it's a tier 10 like an E100 or an IS-7, you're going to cut through the armor, just no effort. Like, it's kind of wild just how good the penetration is. This team is going to the side of the map I don't want to necessarily go. I don't have any positions to use a tank destroyer effectively on the heavy flank. Unfortunately. Yeah, Wargaming did not do a great job in designing heavy side of Faust. But we can see here at least a good example of the mobility. This tank is pretty quick. 40-ish kilometers per hour, as I said. I think it's a top speed of 41. So, yeah, it's actually got a good power to weight, which is nice. But, again, while it does have that power to weight, it also lacks in the accuracy. So, I knew it was going to go into the mantlet, too. So I specifically aimed away, and then it still went right into the mantlet. That kind of sucks, but oh well. We got the Kampfpanzer 70, and let's just overpoke. There you go. 390 damage shell into his tank, and the BZ gets an absolute chunker out. We reload. See ya. There you go. Good use of that DPM. Yes, thank you, E75. Alright, well, our team is going to hold that off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to maneuver over here, see if we can maybe get some bleeds out into the Tiger 2 that's right over here. Let's aim it on his upper plate. There you go, 417. Now again, don't expect to get bounces in this vehicle. It has no armor. But look at that pen. Just AP, we cut through a Tiger 2 like it doesn't even exist. Not only that, but we have way more DPM than a tank like our BZ-68, so I can get 3 shells out for the 1 shell that our BZ is able to get out, which is kind of huge when you think about it. So we got the Chimera, who is... oh, he's going to shoot me, unfortunately. He rolls 471, and then we miss. Well, sucks for me, I guess, right? It actually really sucks for me, big time. Alright, well, I'm not really sure what to do. We have the T-28. Bruh, just snaps. I know the T-28 is quite the inaccurate vehicle, so kind of wild he was just able to hit that. Alright, well, let's back out of here. But, yeah, you can see where just being such a large tank has problems. Like, I don't even know where to drive it. It's so freaking big that, like, everybody that looks at it's gonna be able to shoot it, which is not a good thing. So we have the T-28 over here. I'm hoping the Kampfpanzer doesn't shoot me, and I'm gonna move right on through. Let's see. There's the T-28. I'm going to ignore... actually, no. I'm going to kill the T-28. There you go. Easy clear. And E-75 actually manages to bounce me, which is pretty sad when you think about it. And now we're going to put on our Adrenaline. We got a 490 damage shell into his tank once. And while the E-75 does obviously have a solid gun of damage per shot and everything, we feature way more DPMs. We're able to get 1, we're able to get 2, and he is dead. So, not a bad game. We ended up dealing 4,100 damage. I don't think this is a bad tank. I actually think that it's quite good if you're able to work that DPM and you're able to work that penetration. But, due to the fact that it's absolutely huge, and the fact that it has very little armor, I also think that for the majority of players, this is just going to be a pile of crap. I really don't see much of a reason to get this tank when there are vehicles on the tech tree, which in my opinion are just kind of better. If you want a mobile-style tank destroyer with high levels of DPM and solid penetration, run an SG-122-54. This vehicle with calibrated shells has 383 millimeters of heat. It has 4,100 or actually 85 DPM with rammer, but even still 4K DPM. Its dispersion is better, its aiming time is better, it's got way better mobility, better reverse speed, and its gun depression is only slightly worse, but a much better profile, and not only that, but better camo values. I don't know. I don't really see much of a reason for anybody to drive this when the Ritter, the SU-122, and the Jagdtiger exist. The tank is too big. It's absolutely hideous if you want my personal opinion. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this vehicle. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!